You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Y&R fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and today I want to talk about the incredible scenes we've had lately with Eileen Davidson doing quadruple duty, playing Ashley and her three alters, and the explosive end to this storyline that is set to happen in France. Looks like we're going to have some Peril in Paris. This could be serious life and death stuff and tied directly to one of the men in Ashley's life. But which man? We want to dig in and discuss it, but first, click subscribe if you have not. So, we have Ashley Abbott finally back in control of her own body after, a week or two of her basically napping in the back of her own brain and the inmates running the asylum that is her very troubled mind. And I will say right now, not only should Eileen Davidson get an Emmy nomination for this work, but she should win the trophy no matter who else is nominated. This is just staggering, brilliant work. You can easily tell which alter is which, and even in scenes with more than one of them, it's incredible. So, all right, let's dig in. We have this guy, Dr. Alan Laurent, her friend from Paris, who is very distinctly American. We heard about this guy the first time, I think, when Tracy and Ashley were in Paris to talk to the waitstaff at the restaurant where she argued with Tucker, where she thought he made a big scene and threw stuff, and no. So on a recent episode of Y&R, I think Tuesday, I believe they narrowed down the time of the trauma that caused her dissociative identity disorder. And Alan said it came after the argument with Tucker, but before she came back to the US. So that really narrows it to a pretty small window. And I'm betting the Abbott family is going to be sure that this is something that Tucker McCall has done to her, some sort of monstrous betrayal or abuse or something. The thing is, I do not think Tucker's fingerprints are on this, not one bit. For various storyline reasons, I just don't think so. Plus, Tucker is a bit of a man whore with some quirky habits, but he's not the type to just abuse somebody into a trauma so bad it splits your mind. I just can't see it. He's the kind of guy you regret sleeping with, but not enough to go jump off a bridge. Just enough to go, oh, that's a mistake I'm not going to make again, and you just walk away. Also, I'm pretty sure Trevor St has at least a 2-year contract. He started in September 2022, so if he were leaving, it would likely be in September of 2024 at the end of a 2-year deal. So even if we're leaving, it probably wouldn't be happening for many more months. And I tend to think he's not leaving at all. So that means we really can't have Tucker be the source of Ashley's trauma for that reason. And the fact also, it's just simply out of character for the character. So on this recent episode, Ashley Abbott slipped into one of her blackout fugue states while talking to her sister Tracy. And she had a conversation in her head with 2 of her 3 alters. I don't think little Ash was there. It was Belle and Ms. Abbott. Then she snapped out of it, came back to herself. It freaked out Tracy. More importantly, it really freaked out Ashley, who then ran to see Alan Laurent. This guy seems very insistent that they need to get back to Paris. He keeps saying, we need to get back to Paris to find out what happened. I'm just not so sure Dr. Laurent is a nice guy. First of all, why is this American living in Paris? Is he hiding out from a bad reputation, a criminal past, or is he just an expat who likes living abroad and likes croissants? Okay. There's also the fact Dr. Laurent is no longer a doctor, which he has mentioned many times. So exactly why is he not a doctor anymore? Did he retire and decide not to keep up his licensure, or was his license revoked because he was doing very bad things to some of his patients? And exactly how does Ashley Abbott know Alan, and how long has she known him? He is so eager to get her to Paris that it just has me very suspicious. And of course, further complicating all of this is Audra Charles is already in Paris. She gets to Paris before the other ones that are coming. Next to go should be Alan and Tracy and Ashley, and then Tucker McCall heads to Paris as well. He insists he's only going to deal with the Audra issue of her trying to stir up trouble at Glissade. So all 5 of these people are going to be in Paris. So that means huge finale to this storyline coming soon. And and coming there. At a glance, because Tucker is there, you'd expect us to find out he did something bad that traumatized Ashley and reduced her to the state she's in now. But in their last big interaction, before they came back to Genoa City and had the whole divorce thing, they had that fight at the restaurant, and Alan Laurent said the trauma came after that. And then we also saw in both of their flashbacks, Tucker and Ashley, they had a conversation. I think it was the next day after the restaurant fight. They were at this little outside bistro table. And already Ashley was insisting it went a totally different way than Tucker said it did. And he was proven correct. So I wonder on the timing if the trauma happened right after that restaurant argument with Tucker that she started seeing the wrong way. So just hypothetically, this is not a spoiler. This is hypothetically, this is how I think this could happen. This is what I picture happening. Dr. Alan Laurent had a crush on Ashley, but she had him just in the friend zone. Then she shows up in Paris, married to Tucker, who's an obvious tool, and it pushes Alan to the point of rage. Why is she with this guy when she could be with me, and this guy's a pile of garbage? So then Alan might have been stalking her, watching her with Tucker, and plotting a way to steal her from the guy. Then he sees them arguing at the restaurant and thinks, aha, now it's the perfect time to announce my feelings, win her over, steal her away from this creep. And then Alan could pretend to run into her at the restaurant, offered to let her cry on his shoulder, took her home with him, confessed his feelings, and when she didn't reciprocate, he did something bad to her, something bad. And then she blacked it out, and these alters emerged to protect her. Alan might want her back in Paris when those memories return so he can control her or try to wipe those memories out of her mind somehow. He has her isolated away from most of her family. There's just her sister there, and he can probably incapacitate Tracy or lock her into a room while he does bad things to Ashley. And believe it or not, I think Tucker might come out of this a hero. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see whether they make Tucker the scapegoat in this. Will he be a good guy or a bad guy, or will he wind up saving her from the real bad guy? And is Laurent a villain who's faking this mild-mannered attitude in the nice tweed suit, or is he really a manipulative madman? We will see how it goes, but share your thoughts, what you think, who you think did this trauma to her. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't, and definitely come back. We are here talking Young and the Restless 7 days a week. And as always, I'm your host, Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.